Hello and welcome to Mask College of Business and Technology. This is your facilitator, Mr. Mwenda, and I will be taking you through entrepreneurship course. This is a course that will broaden up your mind in terms of setting up businesses, how you will be able to run these businesses, and how you are going to run these businesses that they will be able to become successful. So welcome, and I hope that this particular course will be of benefit to you and that you will find it insightful and interesting. We'll begin by looking at the general objectives of the course. By the end of the course, I expect you as a trainee to be able to understand various terms used in entrepreneurship and how it contributes to national development. So we are going to have to define a number of terms. I expect that you are going to be able to understand them, and also we look at how does now entrepreneurship as a course or as an employment creation way, how does the nation develop through it. Then we'll be able to understand the evolution of entrepreneurship. So how did we get to having entrepreneurship? There must be a journey that we have taken, so we look at that particular journey. Then we'll be able to demonstrate creativity and innovation in their day-to-day business activities. So we are going also to study that as a topic. So we hope you are going to develop your creativity and innovation knowledge, so that as you begin any business entity, you are able to be creative. Then demonstrate the understanding of entrepreneurial culture. Then lastly but not least, demonstrate the understanding of entrepreneurial competencies. And lastly, by the end of the training, we expect that you are going to demonstrate a good entrepreneurial behavior in planning, starting, and managing a business enterprise. So we are going to look at the introduction of entrepreneurship. We have a number of terms. We have an entrepreneur, and we are saying this is a person who identifies a business opportunity, mobilizes and obtains the resources necessary to start and operate the business activity. So the first term, of course, we are focusing now on you as a person. When you start a business and you mobilize resources, then we call you the entrepreneur. When we talk about resources here, we are talking about time, human resources, and financial resources. Those are critical resources when it comes to the mobilization, and you have to do it. Then we look at the process of identifying business opportunities, gathering the necessary resources. So that is it now on entrepreneurship as a definition of term. So the first one we focus on the person, the second one we focus on the process. So you begin to look at the opportunities, then you gather information about the opportunities, you organize your resources, and you are able to start a particular business activity. Then we also have another term that we call self-employment, and we are saying this is now your ability to be able to work independently and be able to earn a living from the self-employment venture. Now, there are several factors that have contributed to or that prevent the growth of entrepreneurship. Very many people want to begin, very many people want to start these business entities, but they are not able to start because of a number of the factors that we are looking below here. So high levels of taxation. Like in this country, we have what we call corporate tax. In Kenya, we have corporate tax, 30%. Organizations also have to remit value-added tax, which is around 16%. And then they also have to remit what we call pay as you earn, that is tax on employees. So when you look at those taxes, there are so many for an institution that is just starting. Then the second one is the high levels of corruption. And corruption even begins even at the registration step of just registering your company. You will be told to submit names, and those names you will be told they have been taken. Those guys want just some few money so that they can help you complete the process. Anytime you are seeking for funding, maybe from government institutions, for you to get that kind of funding, you are told to pay. Anytime you are looking for tenders, whoever is the main person is expecting you to give them some kickbacks. So corruption is rampant, and it is really affecting the entrepreneurship journey of very many people. Then unregulated competition from outside countries and even from within countries. Competition is really unregulated. So you realize those smaller institutions are not able to really do much because the competition is really too much. And then high cost of finance. So when we talk about cost of finance here, we are talking about the cost of obtaining loans, the cost of repaying those loans in terms of interest rates. It's quite high. And then we're also talking about lack of entrepreneurial culture. So we are going to be discussing that as a topic, but generally for entrepreneurship to thrive, then definitely you have to be within an environment that you are seeing entrepreneurial activities being done. And that's why if you look at a family that is doing very well in business, the children, everyone takes up through that journey because it is a culture around them. They run family businesses and they are able to thrive. Then poor transport and communication network. For example, in Kenya, we have a lot of traffic jam that, of course, has led to loss of millions of shillings per day. So if we want to avail goods at a certain point, it is not possible to be able to do that. And then lack of skills and knowledge. So that is what we are doing here now. So that factor cannot be able to affect us. That's why we are gaining this particular knowledge on entrepreneurship. But we have people that do not have access to this kind of information. So if they want to begin any entity, they can be faced with a number of challenges. Then we are going to look at the contribution of entrepreneurship to national development. How has entrepreneurship contributed to the development of the nation? The first one is the growth of infrastructure. And when we talk about infrastructure there, we are referring to roads, buildings, schools. All of them have been able to come up. Like now in Kenya, we are continually increasing our road infrastructure. We are opening up the villages, we are opening up the towns, and it becomes easier for entrepreneurship to be able to thrive. So the other one is improvement in the standards of living. So whoever begins an entity, definitely they are able to gain an income from it. So the standards of living are improved. Then the other one is increasing per capita income. What we call per capita income is what we call as income per head. So the more people have begun the businesses, the more the income tends to increase. Now, entrepreneurship has also contributed to the generation of employment. So every small entity or big entity we begin, we are also creating jobs for other people. Then boosting economic independence. So for businesses to be able to thrive, we have people being able to become also independent. They are able to become independent. They can rely on themselves. We have countries like Kenya are still very hugely depending on imported goods. But when we have people that are opening businesses, we can reduce that over reliance on those imported goods. You can see now a situation where we have war in Ukraine, for example. The entire world is affected because they depend so much on products from that particular country. Then export promotion. So entrepreneurs who produce goods and services for export, they are able to earn. We have maybe, for example, those that are in the flower industry. They plant and export flowers. So they are able to earn from that particular venture. We have the Kenyan market, for example, has also opened doors for fruits, avocados, taking them to other countries, and so on and so forth. And every country has whatever they are taking out. So some of those are entrepreneurs. They are able to earn from that. And then the government also benefits from revenue, and that is through taxation. And then it has facilitated the development of the financial sector, through which capital accumulation is possible through savings. So anyone who has an income, definitely they begin to develop a saving culture. They can be able to save and improve their lives. Remember, when you save in maybe SACCO institutions around the country, the loans that you benefit from are as a result of maybe the savings that you have. So we are encouraging entrepreneurs, whatever little they are able to get, they can be able to save a little of that. Now, roles of an entrepreneur. You now as a person, what are some of the roles that you need to play? The first one, you need to identify gaps in the market. We can also call them those need gaps. For you to start any entity, find out what is the need in the market that you can be able to serve and serve comfortably. So you can carry research, customer trends, customer buying trends, customer preferences, taste, and so on and so forth to be able to make decisions or to be able to identify gaps. Then financing the business. So you as an entrepreneur, you are expected also to know where to get finances for your business. We have a number of sources, loans, you can also fundraise, you can also do what we call crowdfunding. It can also be as a result of your savings. The third one is evaluation of business opportunities to assess the viability. So you may have at your disposal more than 5, more than 10 business opportunities. Now you have to evaluate. Viability is about which of them is more productive. So you can be able to find out and decide on the same. Provide the necessary leadership for businesses and those working on it. So as an entrepreneur, we also expect you to be a leader, so that you can show direction to your employees if you have them, or to your organization. Remember, your organization has goals and responsibilities that they need to achieve. And then the bearing of uncertainty is the primary function of the entrepreneur. Remember, bearing of uncertainty, we simply mean you bear all the risks, risks that come. It can be losses, it can be like now countries when they are going for elections, we have post-election violence that may come up. All those are risks that you do not expect, and therefore you are able to bear the risk or prepare yourself for any eventualities that might occur, or what we are just calling uncertainties. And the last one is the management of the business enterprise. So bring on your management skills to the entity or the business entity, and then you are able to succeed. Now, when we get into entrepreneurship, what are some of the advantages that we derive from that? So we are saying it leads to job satisfaction. And then the second one, it's us generating income. We are able to generate income. And then the third one, it facilitates competition, encouraging high quality products. And then the fourth one is that it facilitates production of more goods and services. And so we are able to produce even more goods. Then another benefit is that it leads to development of newer markets. So you can be able to identify new areas that you can venture in. And that's why you see people begin with a small entity. After a short while, they open branches and so on and so forth, or they identify new markets, and then provide job opportunities to the unemployed or those seeking better jobs. So it's an avenue for creation of employment. Then we say that it leads to opening up of new industries in the rural areas, facilitating what we call globalization. So you can think in that line in terms of other benefits. Then we look at some of the challenges or the drawbacks of entrepreneurship. Long working hours. So the working hours sometimes are what we may also call irregular working hours. So sometimes you may suffer fatigue, you suffer stress. The other one is unclear future. So the future is very uncertain. Remember, we are working with unpredictable market environments. So sometimes it might be unclear on where you are headed. Then bankruptcies and closure. Sometimes you may run out of finances completely, so we say that you are bankrupt, or other challenges of the closure of businesses. Then competition by established businesses. I believe we have mentioned that in one of the slides. So that is a great disadvantage to the new entities. The big entities have already taken over the market. So for you to really be able to command a position in the market, you need to really be able to work extra hard. The other one is lack of funds, especially before break even. And so you may lack funds. Break even is the period where you are able to recover your investment, the investment that you put in. So that of course takes time depending on the kind of investment or the kind of money or the amount of money that you have put. And lastly is the mismanagement of employees. How do we mismanage employees? Maybe we pay little salaries, we don't pay on time, we are not prompt as an organization, we do not involve them in decision making, we do not involve them in setting of goals. So all that spells trouble for your institution. That has brought us to the end of the first topic. So we are going to look at the second topic on evolution. The reason why we are studying evolution is because entrepreneurship definitely came from a certain point. And we are saying the interest revolving around entrepreneurship began in the 1960s and the 1970s. And then there was a report that was prepared by the ILO. ILO is what we call International Labour Organizations. So they prepared a report